Bob, we want to hear from you a little bit this morning about how it is that you came to Case Western Reserve School of Medicine and what you found out when you got there.
I started my PhD in 1967, and we had an intramural basketball team.
Okay.
And we had a couple of medical students who wanted to play on our team, and they were telling about the School of Medicine. And it was not what I understood schools of medicine to be about. One, they said that they're off in the afternoons to do research, see patients, take electives, have free time. Everything was a pass-fail curriculum.
Yeah.
So you didn't have that level of competition among students, where it's much more camaraderie. So I decided to go to med school.
All right.
And I only applied to one medical school. That was Case Western. So I came here as a young professor of chemistry, and I met a dean named Dr. Fred Robbins. And he and I became lifelong friends.
Wow.
And when I finished up medical school, I did not go back to the laboratory in chemistry. I went on to do a primary care residency. So
Okay.
I totally switched fields from basic sciences to clinical medicine.
So Bob, you came in the front door as a PhD chemist and went out the back door as a primary care MD. Pick me up from that point forward.
All right. When I left the medical school, I went to Mount Sinai Medical Center, which is no longer there. And I did my internal medicine residency. And I decided on primary care because a number of the problems that impact people of color are things like hypertension and diabetes. And so I wanted to be a part of trying to not only take care of these patients, but also to do preventive medicine. The other thing is I was also working with the Office of Student Affairs and recruiting, going out to the schools in the city of Cleveland, because there was really a dearth of graduates from the Cleveland public school system who were minorities who were coming to our medical school.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was trying to think, well, why is that a blog? And then I found out there was a school within walking distance called John Hay. And so I started direct one-on-one mentoring. And I brought my medical students because there's a little bit of an age difference between me and the John Hay students. I thought that if I brought some of my medical students who were a little closer to their ages, maybe they would hear the message better.
Yeah, how's that worked out?
And that has worked out. It's been fabulous.
Great.
Our students have been actively involved with John Hay now for over 8 years.
Wow.
As a result of that involvement, we have 2 John Hay students who are undergrads at Case Western Reserve. One's a freshman and one's a sophomore who are what's called Edward Scholars.
Oh, okay.
In fact, both students come to my office about 4 times through the year as they've completed some part of their coursework or taken the exam, and we sit down and go over their results. So this is hands-on. Dean Davis wanted someone to actually have hands-on, not just leave it to the undergrad school, but someone in the med school to be mentoring and monitoring these students. And it has worked out beautifully. Just about that time, Tracy was starting to wake up. Tracy was waking up. I said, yeah, we're rolling now. She's waking up. So she wakes up, all right, she's looking at me, she's writing. She says, where am I? I said, you're in the hospital. So over the ensuing days, she got better. Got to the ex-baker. And she says, Dad, have you been here all through this time? I said, I've been here every day. I would start off with my patient. I'd sit down in front of the bedside, look at her spreadsheet, have my stethoscope. It's not a necklace. All right, it's in my pocket. And she says, I knew it. I said, how did you know? She says, I had a dream. The dream was I was on a cruise, and the ship went down. I was just a kid. She said, the ship went down, and everybody else was disappearing. They couldn't hold on. She said, I was holding on. She says, I was holding on. Everybody else was dying. And she said, on that cruise ships, everybody had southern accents. I said, that's because you're at Georgia Baptist Hospital. On the cruise ship, she said, everybody had southern accents. I thought maybe I was surviving because I didn't have a southern accent. And she says, I was the last survivor until the ship appeared. She said, when the ship appeared, I was rescued. And they kept asking, little girl, how did you do it? Everybody else perished. What was it about you? She says, my father is the captain of the ship and he would never leave me out here alone. And that was Haynie. She says, I heard your voice, Daddy. See, you become daddy when things get bad. You become dad when you want money. And one thing she said was, would I ever ever have kids? Did you give me a picture up there? Did you have kids? There she is.
And there's one other thing I know you're involved with, is that you're a society dean.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about being a society dean and and your take on the School of Medicine from that angle of new kids coming in.
Well, about 10 years ago, we decided to divide the class up into 4 societies. I'm the Robinson Society, we have the Blackwell McKinley Society, we have the Warren Society, we have the Savage Society. So the school is students are randomly assigned to one of 4 societies. And the point of that is to give them a home within a home, and also to be involved in community service projects. We all have community service projects that our students are involved in because it's one of the 4 pillars for the med school. There are 4 basic pillars of the med school in our new curriculum: research, leadership, clinical mastery, and civic professionalism.
Wow, okay.
So we want our students to be involved in all 4. It makes the learning environment very active and rich. What I tell students, the difference between you and I is experience and exposure.
Right.
Because they pick up things so quickly. And they're so engaging. They want to help. Our students carry a very heavy load, but they spend hours at John Hay, they spend hours at other high schools, MC Square. So we've just kind of branched out in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District so that we can make a difference. Because a lot of the patients we take care of come from the inner city. So this is where we're giving back. I'm telling this to Katie, and so she says, well, so let's see. You're a doctor, you're a father, you got grandkids. Now, I'm showing another picture up there. I said, but you really want to know who Bob Haynie is? I am my mother's son. I'm Mrs. Haynie's boy. That's who Bob Haynie is. Because that woman there, my father died when I was in 11th grade, left 7 children. My mother did not work. She was a housewife. And when he passed away, I told my mom, I'm leaving school because that helps support the family. She says, no, you're not going to do that. She says, you're going to stay in school. She said, you'll make a much bigger impact in school than I work. I said, I'll go to night school. She said, no, you're staying in school. And so I said, okay, Mom. So I started school, finished undergrad, and then in undergrad, I was going to go freedom riding south down in Mississippi for board registration. And the first time I see my mom break down, she said, son, you would get killed. She said, Mississippi is a very hostile state. And that was the fall of '63. In the summer of '64, Cheney and Schroeder were here because they went down for board registration. And so my mom says, you're going to make something of yourself one day. So I better try to be known as Mrs. Haynie's boy, my mother's son. So I told Katie that. And when Katie Lawson said to me, she says, Doc, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my mom. I said, call your mama. I said, because that lady right there, that Miller said it best. She is the wind beneath my wings. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Can I say one thing, Jim?
Please, go ahead.
This is the best medical school in the country. Now, Jim, you're supposed to ask me why.
Why is that, Bob?
Excellent question, Jim. Number 1, I went to medical school here. And number 2, when I was a 4th-year student, a first-year student wanted me to help set up a tutorial. And I told him I was too busy. So the student met with me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to help you set up tutorials. I married her. That was 35 years ago. So I met my wife here.
No, for Dr. Robinson.
That's exactly right.
That's been great, Bob. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Bye.